All right, well, I think we have everyone here. We'll go ahead and briefly get started. I have just a couple of things to say, and then we will hear from the various delegation leads. Thanks, everyone, for coming. Delegations are, of course, a pretty new thing, and EthereansOS is just sort of starting to hit the ground now. So delegations are a really interesting and new way for community members to really get involved. And I'm really glad to say that we have three very awesome delegations here who are starting out and pioneering this way of engagement. For anyone listening, if you want to be able to support these delegations, you can actually wrap your OS tokens as the delegation tokens, and based on the number of those tokens wrapped, those stakings, the delegations are actually going to receive funds from the ETHOS protocol. And that split is going to be happening, I believe, 5 days from now, just about 5 days from now. And what's going to happen is the protocol is going to look at how many OS tokens are staked for each of the three delegations here, and then split the funds proportionally between them. And it's really important that OS holders stake their tokens. It actually helps the security of the whole protocol as they to protect against any sort of attack. It makes attacks much more costly, and it also lets you support the direction you want to see the community engagement go.
JPN, just before you go on, man, we've actually got a. Well, I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but we'll actually start the stage in the channel.
Okay.
I'll click it now. One sec. Okay, now it's officially a stage. I don't think that changed anything, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Just welcome again, everyone. And yeah, we're going to be hearing from the three delegation leads that Treasury split's happening 5 days from now. And based on what you hear today, you're very welcome to go ahead and start staking your OS tokens for these delegations to support what you want to see going forward with both the protocol as well as the delegations. There's going to be a write-up that is going to come out shortly after this community call is done that's going to sort of summarize what was said here today. It's going to include, what past spending has been, what future spending is, and also just some information on where you can hear more about the delegations, their social channels, and who is in charge. And I think we're going to go ahead and kick off with our first delegations, Ethereans community. And Ethereans community, if you can just sort of say, who you guys are, what your main goals are as a delegation, and then you can start talking about what you guys have done over the past quarter here and what your plans are moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely, JPN. Thanks for giving us the time. Hello, everyone. It's Rudy here from Ethereans community. A lot of you I know are following us and have been following us over the last year or so. There are three of us in the delegation, and we all cover different roles within what we do. So basically, it all started as a way to create some awareness for the project. We had all come across ETHOS at our own individual times, and we realized very soon that there was not much, not just interaction online, but there wasn't a lot of content or anything that you can really lean on in terms of getting yourself up to date with what was going on in the project, aside from Telegram. So we thought essentially that we started to talk about the project in a language that was easy to comprehend, given that neither myself or the other co-founders are coming really from a tech background. So we essentially tried to find the format that was going to be easy to digest and was hopefully going to spread the word about ETHOS to new members, create a reference point for existing community members, a place that they can also lean on when they wanna, also any other initiative that may get the community involved. So essentially, we've been focusing on developing our social media platform across all of the major, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and as of recent, TikTok as well. And we played around with a number of different formats on our videos, where we, on one side, provided tutorials on how to use some of the technology that is at the core in order to start playing with ETHOS. But also we took the opportunity at times where there were new tech implementations. We try to basically help the community sort of getting through some of the hurdles, like for example when the farming was opened and when the token wrapping towards delegation took place. So we are going to continue doing those kind of videos as well. And we've just been going for over a year now. Of course, we're only 3 months into being a delegation, but we had already started prior to this. So as of now, we've built a following which ranges from platform to platform. We've got to over 2,150 followers on Instagram. We've got just over 1,050 on Twitter, and we are increasingly trying to grow our YouTube, which is proving to be the biggest struggle. But of course, we are this is a niche of a niche, so inevitably it's going to take a while. But what we do like about our YouTube is that despite the not very impressive numbers of subscribers, we're actually getting a good level of engagement. If you consider that we only have 267 people following us there, our videos tend to get in average in excess of 100 to 150 views, which shows that at least half of the people are engaging with what we do, which is great. And we also had a couple of milestone videos which reached a few thousand, like the interview with Ale, which got to over 4,000. We got a coin stats tutorial where we also did a little plug on OS there, which is close to edging 10,000 views. So, that gets to show that there are possibilities. We just need to continue doing what we're doing, and I'm sure we'll get to bigger subscription base. Does that work as an intro, JPN?
Yeah, that was great. You guys also had Twitter Spaces, and I was a part of that here with GABA, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I was going to come to sort of the things that we did to this point, but essentially, that was one of the initiatives that we organized as part of the funds that we received from the startup funds and the grant. We invested in a number of different ways, and predominantly across 5 line items, which were the advertisement piece for ETHOS, which is where most of the money are going. The advertisement piece for Ethereans community, which is driven towards growing the number of followers that we have across our platforms. There was a startup investment, which we're going to go through in a second. There was a section for salaries as well. And then there was a small amount that we dedicated to charity. So starting from bottom, I guess, the charity part, we put together a survey that we ran through the community, where we asked to select a charity that they particularly liked. And, there was a short list. Given Ukraine is particularly topical at the moment, we decided to focus on those type of charities. And the community chose Leleka Foundation, which is a great charity, and we donated 0.5 Ethereum to them. There's a video on our channel where you can find out more about what they did with it, but essentially went towards some first aid kits to both Ukrainian soldiers and civilians. So we're really, really happy to do that. From a advertisement perspective of Ethereans community, so far, we've invested a small capital towards a freelancer, which is working on an ongoing basis towards growing our following, which is why we saw, particularly over the last month, a pretty drastic spike across our socials, except for YouTube, which I haven't started working on yet. And we also invested towards doing a little bit of promotional posts on Instagram, try to drive some more followers and some more awareness. And as part of our future plans, we're continuing to put a little bit of budget towards these particular items. When it comes to EthereansOS advertisement and marketing, this is where we've done the most amount of activity. So as you mentioned, JPN, we did recently a Twitter space hosted on the Gabagool channel on Twitter, which was great. We really enjoyed that. The community responded really, really positively. And as we go into next month and the following month, we're hoping to continue the relationship with Gabagool and to do more of those kind of activities, which are proven to be quite effective. We also invested towards, in more recent times, you may have seen there is a Chinese documentation that's been released. So this was something that we organized. We believe that there is a great potential in attracting and engaging with the Chinese community. So we thought that this was going to basically open up opportunities for us to get new people through the door, which is always very welcome. And aside from that, right now, as we speak, we are very close to formalize an agreement with a pretty substantial YouTube influencer, which I can't disclose quite yet, just for the fact that we haven't formalized it. But believe me, you will be the first one to know as soon as that's done. And that means that very soon we're hopefully going to get some quality airtime on a channel that has got a very large subscription base. So that's going to be great in terms of visibility. We also took the trip to Milan a couple of weeks ago to cover the spaghetti event. You might have seen the presentation of Alan Vaza that we already published, and one of the interviews that has recently come out with the two members of the core team. And over the next couple of weeks, you're also going to see another 2-3 videos that we took at that event that we're releasing as we go along. And then finally, as part of our strategy, we're looking to continue to build more relationships similar to the ones with Gabagool, with people that are interested in the project, and that have got a general appetite to be sort of engaging with a group like ours. And yeah, I mean, our initial plan was to be able to do more of these type of substantial videos, as I call them, with big YouTube subscribers. But we'll have to see what the funding is going to be like as we move forward to the next quarters. Because obviously the situation in crypto is not the best right now, as we all know. So it will all have to be done in sort of a proportionate manner.
Yeah, well, thank you. And you guys actually just recently published a video that covered a lot of the stuff that we were going to talk about today, and that's going to be linked in the write-up. So if anyone's more interested in hearing more about what the ETHEREANS community's done, there'll be links to their socials in that write-up, as well as a specific link to that video where they sort of talk about what their budget was here and what their plans going forward are.
Yeah, and actually, sorry, just to add one more thing there, there was a proposal that we published a couple of days ago, 3 days ago. He actually reached the required number of votes to be approved, so thanks everyone for getting involved in that. You can see there a breakdown on what we're planning to invest with that money. But actually, I'm taking the chance also to let you know that we might actually have to reopen that vote, because the total number of Ethereum that we asked was rounded up to like a couple of cents worth in excess, and as a result of that, we're actually unable to terminate manually the proposal as it is. So don't be surprised if you see another proposal probably tomorrow or the day after.
All right. Well, we'll be looking for that. And up next here, we're gonna shift gears over to our another Delegations ETHEREANS PL with Macy. Macy, so can you give us a brief intro on what ETHEREANS PL is, what sort of was the idea behind it, and what you guys have been working on here as of late?
Hello everyone. So my name, you can call me Macy. My name is Maciej, and the goal in why I was creating the idea behind the ETHEREANS was to create some form of a base of starting as this on project, so Ethos project, so starting to create some community around this project around in Poland with Poland crypto community. But the final goal is to be more seen as some like delegation which wants to create a base of ETHEREANS. So not only people which are interested in Ethos platform and Ethos project, but also ETHEREANS, so Ethereum users and developers in general. So, but right now we want to just start with making some form of informations which will be explaining Ethos platform for the future people we want to reach and communities. Because when I was doing some test with reaching at least 100 people, some of them were just crypto investors, some of them were more of developers, few of them knew even Solidity and was doing some smart contracts. I found out that every one of them is interested in the ethos idea and the making it, building on Ethereum a much easier and safer way. But the problem was that after we were stopping the conversation on Ethos platform, and they were asking me some links to, for example, some videos or some explanations more deeply, which will make them be well informed. That was back then I needed to just use the documentation, and I agree that the Ethos documentation is in my opinion the most one of the best documentation created in Ethereum, and it's really easy to understand everything, even for people which are not really familiar with Solidity. But still, people are very lazy, and even if someone is a coder, he still don't have time, energy to go through the documentation as the first link. So my idea is to create two types of go-to places for newcomers from Poland, which I want to attract. The first one is a series of whiteboard video. So it will be kind of like what is doing Finematics channel. It is very easy to be created, and me by myself, I'm right now learning how to do it and how to make it be good enough to start to release those videos. So that's the first place for me to use as a link to make those people be interested. And second one is an idea which is not very well. I was not thinking about this for too long, but I'm thinking about creating on a classic Web 2 page for my delegation. So the domain is already bought. It is EthereansOS.pl, and at this side I want to put some form of a tutorial for the Web3 Ethos platform. It will be kind of like a game in which you will just be clicking some stuff, and it will be not doing anything on chain, but it will. I hope that it can be used as a form to make those people be more familiar with this kind of interface. It's really different from anything we can see currently on the crypto, the most popular websites. So I'm thinking about also creating things like this. And so I think that's the introduction. I can now look at what John created for us for delegations. So delegation leaders. So I'm right now having many. Of course, there's me, and there's also two people which are more and more interested in doing with me all kinds of the activities. So I'm having two close friends which are very helpful for me. But my team in total is 6 people. I can see that one of them is is listening to us, and social channels. So I'm starting with classic with Twitter and also with Telegram, because in Poland and crypto investors are mostly interested in Telegram channels. So it's really hard to make them go to Discord, and I don't know why it's happening, but Telegram is right now the most popular crypto chat. About the spending of funds I get. So ETHEREANS.pl got 17 ETH as a funding, but right now I didn't spend anything, and it's not because I did not have anything to buy, but right now I'm doing this using my personal funds. It's because it's not a lot, and also I don't want to use any funds until I will create something which has some value for the whole community. So I'm still waiting with using those funds, and in the next my proposed spendings and the future activities in the next quarter, because my delegation is live right now 3 months, and I didn't have like 1 year to make this everything be prepared for the start. So I'm doing this right now. I'm trying really hard to make this to start to release those things which I am talking to you. And so the first one is in the next I want to have fully completed the Web2 delegation page. I want to start to release animations videos, and right now the first one is close to being done, but I'm still consulting the whole idea with my delegation team to be sure that the first video will be at least at the level which will be seems as a good enough for the community. And this third one is documentation translation. So right now I'm in the process of translating the basic pages of documentation, and Matteo or Frank wrote me a private message that it's a good idea to start doing this, and the trans community shows us that it's possible to make it. The fourth one is the last one, which I think will need some funding, is bringing some people which will make for me this really easy tutorial of the Ethos platform. But this idea is still at the stage of talking with everybody and making sure it's a good thing to be done. I think that's all.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I'm sure that the videos that are going to come out might be in the Polish language to start, but maybe we can also get an English translation, or at least some English subtitles there as well for the broader audience as well. Well, and we certainly look forward to what is coming from you guys. And then we're going to go ahead and get the introduction and sort of the statements from our third and final delegation, the Cypher parties. And then after that, we'll go ahead and jump into the AMA part. And so representing the Cypher parties as its founder is we have Max. And Max, can you give us just a brief idea of what was the idea and the motivation behind Cypher parties, and what have you guys gone ahead and already sort of funded, and what are the plans going forward for your delegation?
Hello guys, nice to find you again. This is Max. Okay, so starting from the beginning, the Cypher Party was born with the idea of promoting public goods built on top of the protocols of EthereansOS. More specifically, the idea was to shoot a series of hackathons for the creation of items, extensions, or contracts able to host items in a way to, how to say, fulfill the many or the infinite possible application we can use items for. So everything started very slowly, also because items to become very effective would need colonies, but we get to the point very soon. So at the current stage, basically, what we did was, first of all, to offer a bounty to Dune Analytics community. And this was somehow a very interesting experiment because if you saw how it went, when you offer money, you always instantly attract the attention of a community. So offering money to external community in order to use your protocol or somehow to connect their tools to your protocol is a winning strategy. Several people answered and jumped in. At the moment, only one of them really completed the creation of a dashboard. The idea was to offer $10,000 for the creation of more than 100 little queries for Dune Analytics in order to track the activities of the tokens, the DAOs, the items, the DEX, and so on. So the idea was to split this job among different Dune Analytics wizards. I believe some of them got lost, to be honest, and this we'll talk about this in 1 minute. Yes, one of them completed his job. We are in the middle of the payment. Basically, he made almost completely the work offered to him. Basically, we offered him to make 14 queries for each wizard, and he did almost 10, 11 queries. So what he was able to do, basically. So we are in the middle of the payment. About the other, yes, this was an interesting experiment because, and again, I want to talk again about items, and somehow I got to the same conclusion where Messi got. So the idea that the documentation is very good, but very likely the people needs more tutorial, okay? Because when you get to new contracts, you don't know what you are doing, so the impact may be harder than one would expect. And at the same time, this is the third point about the present. At the last minute during the spaghetti event, we offered a little bounty for the hackathon. Okay, so I think there wasn't an answer. The reason may be two. The first is that we did it at the last minute. So it wasn't shown during the presentation, and maybe during the presentation, those who wanted to join already decided what they wanted to do. The second reason could be, again, the problem of the impact, because I played a bit with the previous version of items, where there was a completely different interface. It was somehow a pretty rude interface, but at the same time it was pretty smart, because you were able to create the host contract directly online, posting them online. This was so transparent, so obvious, so, how to say, it's like when there's a famous architect explaining how things should be done. He says, when you get to an airport, the best airport is the one without signals, because you enter and you already know where you have to go. Okay, so the previous interface was like that. I know that now the team is going to release in a soon future a new interface for the new version of items, but maybe the lack of an interface like that one can be considered like an obstacle. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay. So yes, I got to the same conclusion.
Yeah, but
basically.
Max, maybe please, can you make it a bit louder? Because
Can you make it a bit louder?
yeah,
Okay. So I got to the same conclusion where I believe we need tutorials. This is my conclusion. Because with more tutorial, or at least this, I'm a developer of time, and reading documentation is a tough job. When you see someone, how to say, we are human beings are like monkeys, okay? Monkeys learn by simply watching other people doing things. So if we can promote more tutorials, more examples, live experiences, maybe this can make a huge difference. So in the end, talking about the future. The idea of public goods and the experiments on top of items will really start up once two conditions are met, in my opinion. The first is the existence of some very simple and straight tutorials. Even a kid can copy paste. So pieces of code people can copy paste, and the procedure about how to do it. So if maybe in the future we still have money and our delegation can collaborate with MECB and split somehow the duties. Okay. The second is something less important, because such experience could be made already on testnet. You know, mainnet is a bit expensive at the moment, so everything could be changing very soon with the advent of Ethereum 2.0. So of course colonies will make a big difference. So I believe the next money should be spent instead of hackathons, because this idea of the hackathons is interesting, because it gives you direct visibility in other communities. So one of the options is to take some of the remaining money and to go to existing hackathons and join them and offer some money to see if the people answers. Okay, if they don't answer, is not a problem. The important is to show up, basically, because it is a free advertising in the end. But before
And I
that,
know you guys did a little bit of that already at the Spaghetti conference. You guys offered a specific bounty, correct?
yes, but I believe no one answered. Okay, so the idea was to try to play with the items. I didn't see any answer. No one contact us to ask any questions, so we'll see. I believe one of the reason is because the impact is a bit hard. So during an hackathon, it is online. You are left alone. You don't know how many other people are participating. If things are too difficult, because it is not difficult to build an host contract for items. It's very easy. Okay, even some 2 lines of code is something relatively easy. Anyone can do it. So if you want to attract more people, I believe we already got what is the problem. The problem is to make examples. So my opinion is we should focus on the creation of a huge list of use cases, because many times online on Telegram I see the people saying, oh, items could be used for this, items could be used for that. So it's time maybe to start collecting these ideas, maybe offering a bunch of bucks, okay, just to formulate new examples, new combination of items with governance, indexes with items, indexes with governance, and so on, and make a huge list. So at the same time, the other delegation of MECB, the Ethereum Poland, can also refer to this list of use cases for creating tutorials. Okay, so the bounty for Dune is still open. Now let's see if we complete the payment to this guy. I will simply go to Dune community and say we paid the first one. So this will refresh the ideas of the other, because meanwhile someone didn't get the news when they see the money are paid, they may be keen to take the job again in their hands, or they may be new players. So we can keep basically attracting the people because we still have money. So we pay 1,000 more or less, we still have $9,000 offered to them. So the bounty is open. And at the same time, maybe keep the eyes open to external hackathons and try to repeat this thing of spaghetti. So go there to contact the hackathons organizers and see if we are allowed to offer a bounty to connect their experience to our protocols. So yes, more or less, this is the situation. This is the plan.
All right. Well, thanks, Max, and we look forward to seeing hopefully some of the tutorials. And if you guys get to work with some of the other delegations, can get together and work on some of that. I think that would be really exciting. So for everyone listening in, that's sort of the conclusion of these presentations. You've heard some of what these delegations are about, and most of what was said here is also going to be in this write-up that's coming out real shortly right after this ends. But now we're going to go ahead and move over to the AMA portion of it. So if anyone has any questions for either all the delegations to answer or specific questions for a specific delegation, go ahead and raise your hand. I'll let you speak here. We'll hear your question and then listen to what the delegation has to say.
Just to get things going, I'd love to hear. I know all three delegations had a presence at the Spaghetti conference, and I'd love to know how that event went for you, just in general.
I can start if you want.
I didn't understand the question. I'm sorry.
Max, I know you did a presentation at Spaghetti, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more about that and what you spoke about and how you feel the conference went.
Okay, the conference was very interesting. It was a nice experience. The community was pretty energetic, so I found an Italian community where there is any kind of interest. Okay, so from financial approach to the classic ETHEREANS approach for the community. So it was an interesting event. If it happens again, I will go there again. About my presentation, so I'm trying to attract the attention of the community toward the idea of a standard, because in my personal opinion, we can't live without a standard for NFTs, and I try to build tools where I try to build also simple tools to read NFTs, and it's almost impossible, okay, because each different minting platform has a different standard for metadata. So basically, for each one, you should spend hours for interpreting the code, and it's like, in Europe, we have the electricity plugs that are whenever you change state, there's a different plug. Luckily, we use the same voltage, that is 220 volts, but the shape of the plug is different, and the reason is purely an economical reason, because everyone makes his own patents, and they don't want to pay the patents of the other one. They don't want to give power to the other companies, so each one tends to create his own standard. That's the problem. The result is when you travel around Europe, every time you must buy a new converter, otherwise you can't plug your computer. This is absurd. Okay, then it's not only in Europe, it's everywhere in the world, of course. So NFTs have the same problem. So I was simply talking about this problem during the event.
And Rudy, how did the event go for you guys?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it was a very well put together event. The organizers were not only really good people, but they were also very agile in juggling all of the stuff that was going on throughout the 3 days. It was a very packed program with a lot of credible speakers. I think it was designed as a way to bring together the Italian community together, but in reality, what I did enjoy was the fact that I saw actually a lot of international people that flew down all the way to Milan to come to this event, which I think it shows that there is a lot of appetite out there for people to get together for these kind of meetings. I think often these conferences they tend to be very sort of sizable, and people often they think the bigger the better. But actually, I felt that this format was great. I think it was intimate enough to be able to get to know people and to navigate around very easy. But at the same time, you had everyone that was somebody doing something great in the space at this particular moment. So there was a very, very good roster. I also want to say the venue was great, and they basically had it was a co-working space inbuilt within a hostel type of facility that also had a bar, which in the evening turns into like some kind of like proper actual live bar with a lot of people coming from outside. So I think it was great how everyone that was with the conference stayed at the hostel, at least most of the people, because that got people to know each other better over the 3 days and to bond and to make some really good friendships and relationships. And I think that this type of approach is a really good one for EthOS. I think they got a lot of very quality visibility out of this event, and I would really recommend the team to continue to do more of these type of conferences. I know there are a couple of planned for the next few months. So all in all, I think it was all very, very positive, and I can't wait for you guys to see the interviews that we've got already filmed.
We're looking forward to seeing those. And Macy, what did you think about the conference, and how was it to get together with some of the other delegation leads as well as core members there?
Yeah, I agree with Rudy totally. That the size of this event was, in my opinion, the best one. It was it was not small, but it was also not too big. So I was lucky to be open to talk to everybody, and other crypto events I was going to. In past, I didn't feel beneath the fact that it was in Poland. We are speaking all Polish language. I still was not so open to other people and projects. So this one was the best one for me in my life, and I was afraid before going to Italy that I'm going there alone, without my girlfriend, without my friend. Them wanted to go with me, but at the very last moment, he said that he will not go with me. But right now, I can't wait to go to Italy at some other events. I hope that it will some other events very soon, because I really want to go and talk to everybody, like in Milan. Also, I was trying to talk and to get the feedback from as many people as possible, to ask them about the event, about ethos, about what they are doing. And my conclusion is that it was really a Web3 type of event, and every other event, and when I was talking with them also, they were telling me the same stuff, that every other event in Italy, I can say the same for Poland, Polish crypto events, are really Web 2 type of projects, of people going there, of topics. And here I was feeling that it's really about Web 3.
Yeah, great. And so I really enjoyed the pictures that have come back. I wish I had gotten to be there in person, but maybe next year. For our audience, do we have any other questions, either for a specific delegation or for all of the delegations to answer?
Hello?
Hello.
How's it going, guys?
Fine.
Yeah,
Great, yeah.
very happy to watch this kind of chats about how it's going with the delegations. I very thanks to all of the works you're doing, actually. Just a lot of time. I don't talk into an event like this, so give me a second. So so yeah, I wanted to say something about what Max said about the Spaghetti event, the hackathon. I'm 100% agreed with the fact that we should work to have like more use cases into the whole protocol parts, like items, as you said. And if you have some strategy to put something maybe in the document, we will like help to with portion of the code or something if needed. And yeah, so Spaghetti was very cool in terms of people and connections, but yeah, as an hackathon, we have the same results as you, actually, but I think all of the projects there have this kind of low result in terms of the hackathon and the hacking part, actually. And yeah, I'm here to just to chat about some feedbacks about you as a delegation representatives for what we are doing.
So to answer, I believe yes, it's not very difficult actually to we just need a list of use cases. Okay. If you can put together a list of use cases with a couple pieces of code, I believe it will work. Just a basic procedure on how to do it. And beside that, use cases, because otherwise the people can't imagine. If the people must study to understand what is possible, so it's double effort. Instead, if they come with already expectation because they see a list with 50 use cases, 50 simple use cases, then they study with the mindset of who is looking for a specific information. Okay, so the learning curve becomes very less steep. This is my personal opinion, but it's not very difficult. It's just we took the wrong direction, in my opinion, because we also have this secret group of ETHEREANS where everyone says, we could use it for that, we could use it for this. And all these ideas are getting lost. Okay. So it's just a matter of making a bit of order and maybe pay something to these people who is constantly using the imagination because they already know the ecosystem, they already have expectation, they can't wait to see it in action. Okay, so it's just a matter of transforming this chat into a list of use cases. And, from there, we have the first seed. It should be much easier then. Also, it should be easier then maybe to make questions to you and how to say, when you have 50 use cases and you look at them all together, you realize that a bunch of them are based on the same problem, on the same piece of code. Okay, so maybe that's the piece of code we can build the first tutorials on top of. So I believe this is the way. In the end, there had to be this delegation known as Gaia. And I spoke a bit with the guy of Gaia. We ended up to the same conclusion. So the conclusion was Gaia was going to create somehow some use cases. The problem is that guy needed someone with a bit more experience and knowledge in technology and development. So he wasn't maybe the right guy. I don't know. Then I know he got lost for other reason, maybe health reason, and maybe will come back. But so the idea was pretty good. The idea was to have maybe in my mind I imagine a kind of visual algorithm anyone can read, where you say, okay, is your project about NFTs? Yes, no. If yes, is your project about generating NFT or about collecting? Yes, no. And you have this tree where step by step you follow answering to the tree asks you what you want to do and drives you into the right direction until basically we can consider the tree like a global system for building anything using EthereansOS. Then maybe later, step by step, we can implement this tree with new idea, with new use cases, and this tree in the end can become an interface itself at the end, programmed, where you really clicking buttons, something connected really to the protocols. You end up not only answering but really creating what you need. So this
Yeah, that sounds fun. Looks like a good idea, actually.
So when I'm like listening to Max right now, I'm like I have a strange feeling that when I was talking about the like tutorial for the Web 2, so let's imagine it will be something as simple as those Web 2 games which like 5 years old kids are playing, yeah. So it's everything is there instant, and it's really simple. So I was thinking about creating something like that as a tutorial for the form. And when I'm hearing you guys, I feel that from the different perspective, I was trying to think about the same thing. So making the newcomers come to not to the Web3 page because they will see it's loading a lot, it's cost fee to do anything, and I want to bring them to the Web2 tutorial in which they will play without any waiting for anything, and they will like play for free, and then they will see that they do this farming, creating some tokens, NFT collections, and after like few minutes they have something what they were looking for, and it was possible. And after that, they will realize that it was possible to make it happen, and now they can spend the time, the fee, and they go to the Ethos platform, that one, and do the same thing, but with like knowing the end result. Yeah, so I was thinking about a similar way, Max. Maybe because right now I'm looking for some team which will do really cheaply for me which has some experience in creating those games for kids, and if I will get some more info, if it's possible, if it has some sense, if it will be cheap enough, I can reach you and try to make this the thing you said. So the options that they will be asked: do you want to make an do you want to release an NFT collection, or some other? Do you want to have farming? And we can make it be implemented into this game, and this game will try to be as similar to the original platform as possible.
Yes. So basically, I can help for this. It's not a problem. So what we can do as a delegation is to start pushing for the creation of a list. Then, if you want to transform it into a Web2 interface, that would be the best. It will be very used in the end. Maybe in the end I use it too, okay, as well, because if I want to create something and you have a Web2 platform putting together all the protocols leading you to the right buttons, that's what the EthereansOS ecosystem needs.
And also, Max,
Yeah, I also think.
no, I was just going to
Please.
say that we already have a tutorial section on our YouTube channel, and as part of that, we would like to do more of those type of videos. So already, Max, if you have already a use case that we can utilize, or perhaps something that we can build from scratch in a tutorial type of format, then let's collaborate on a video that we can release, and perhaps we can even put together like a list of how-to videos that we want to publish.
Yes.
I'm also aware from the interview that I did recently with Matteo Tambusi, which is one of the organizers of Spaghetti, that I believe he did utilize the items to actually create the very first music NFT project or something around those lines. I don't know if any of you remember actually what it was exactly, but I know that it does have a use case on a cool project that he actually completed from A to Z. So hopefully I can go back to him as well, and we can go one right there that we can use.
Yes, I believe this is the way.
Well, this
Yeah, it's
sounds
cool,
like
and also. Yeah, so I would just wanna add that I already have two projects which I'm let's say talking to, advising to, and I created. They are asking me what they want to create, and I'm talking to them what they can create using the Ethos platform. So one of them, I'm sure, the mobile game, I'm sure we will start with Ethos and items, and the second one is I'm just starting to try to bring them to the platform, because they are advising to other startups, Web3 startups, in creating the tokenomics, the tokens and NFTs collections. So every month they have at least few projects which they are creating on top of mostly Ethereum. So I can even bring the ideas from them, what they need, what they would like to be possible using Ethos platform, and to you guys, and talk about the real utilities which some projects wants to build.
Yes, that would be great, because we see the limits of what we have. And also this gives us a new input for new applications. So if the people already have a need,
Okay. But you three boats, some general feedback about our last releases and so on, just to try to improve as much as possible.
You want now the feedback?
Yeah, some quick feedbacks.
So yes, during the previous release, I was very operative from the beginning. Okay, so I started building a couple things, and as I said, it was very easy. So in the moment you release the new, and I had a very bad documentation before. Now the documentation is very good, but I'm finding problem with the interface because maybe I don't know. So I believe there are two kind of developers: those who are those kind of minds where they read the instruction, they understood everything. So I'm one of those guys where when I read a math or a geometry text, I don't understand. Then I make the exercises, and then faster than the other people. So there are two different kind of brains. So I don't know how the world reacts to your documentation. The problem is not me. It would be more interesting to have feedbacks from the community, from those who arrive for the first time and read it for the first time. These people who, for example, these people of the Dune analytics wizards who said, I want to do it for the DEX, I will make analytics for the DEX. Then they vanished. Now, let's say they really vanished or they have things to do, so they are just slow. But my feeling is that some of them ended up to the code and they got a bit scared because maybe you read the documentation and you think you understand, then you get to the code and you don't know exactly how to move. So, studying smart contracts made by other people, it's not easy. So if the contract is one, with all the code, maybe you have a very fast overview. But when there are different contracts talking together, pieces, and so on, things become very difficult. So the learning curve is terrible, at least to me. So the release is good in the end. But yes, if you lament something, I'm lamenting the need for tutorial. So
Yeah, so I
instead,
got this. So actually,
this is the
so
reason
actually you
why.
say that. Yeah, I got this. I think we this was like the first version of the documentation in general, and I was not involved into the release of the documentation personally, actually, but I think I will take like sometimes into the next days and weeks to actually try to also like building new visualizing stuff like infographics and this kind of things for this, because yeah, I think the protocol is so cool, but obviously it's like big. And so
Yes,
I can
it's big.
understand that
That's the problem. There are too many things. Too many.
we are
It's
trying
too
to
big.
work as much as possible to like improving it to be as simple as possible to understand. Obviously, it's just like when you start the first version, you have like your first view of this, and then based on the feedbacks, based on things, you're improving and improving and improving until you reach a real like 100% readable for every human's documentation. So yeah. But thank you for the feedback, actually. And from Macy and Laskar, there is something you want to share with me?
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
I can start. that
Yeah, you go.
I think that okay, thanks. So I'm thinking that there's a few aspects, and it's not only ethos itself, but also and right now I'm trying to find the missing parts, right? Just trying to find the missing one. So I think that Web3 in whole, and not just ethos, is that people mostly are not here to build anything. So it's really so the we have to reach so that the community needs to be so big to have at least like 0.1%, which is really wants to be active and which wants to build something. So having some small community is I think there will be few people let's say good enough to be open to build something. And then we have the problem that most of the crypto projects are not doing anything, to be honest, and they creating some tokens, some NFT collection, and maybe farming, maybe staking, and it's mostly not having any real Web3 utility, but it's mostly a way to just have some funding from the crypto investors, and then to most of them are trying to build something which doesn't need blockchain at the very end. And so I think that with ethos, Max is right that people needs to see some simple patterns. What they try, what ethos can make build in an easy way. So the my whole philosophy in a way like those people I hope that the factories and the fact that people we don't need much of great coders because a few of them can build a lot of factories which will be in fact some form of a simple task and a simple function to be created, and then they can start to market with itself a small group of people which wants to, for example, and say farming and all that stuff.
Oh man, thank you to have like starting this conversation about this topic, because it's a huge thing that there is right now into the industry, and I think you're 100% right into it. Yeah, so I think that's my personal view of our development is that even if into the short term of the industry there is like this differently decentralized standards. Okay, I think is very important for us to be straight to the point about what is our mission into Ethereum. So building infrastructure that are granular, that are secure, and obviously that help every project and to be 100% decentralized and secure, and also to help people to have zero assumptions, or they can verify very easily if a project is decentralized enough to be like trusted by them. And I think our development is at this moment is very, very like following this part. So for example, this is why we like put items, decks, and covenants before, for example, the organization like interface into the development, because in terms of people that use it into the industry, there are two problems. The first one is obviously the max fire thing, because in an industry where you actually you can market. Yeah, okay, okay. I will talk for what I think without any kind of try to be politically correct, but I will not be politically correct. We are at the moment in an industry where you actually can like raise millions with a multi-signature and just a poll, you know. And so obviously for most of the project out there, if people are okay with this in the short term, they don't need to like building decentralized things in general. But I think it's just a small short-term part of the journey, like was the ICO and then the DeFi. And this is why we publish it before like items and covenants, because they are like pieces that can reach like a bigger adoption in the short term, because everyone needs farming and especially don't need to spend like a lot of money to like building their own farming contracts, and also be sure there is no tax and these kind of things. And also tax, I think, is one of my favorite apps into the NFT world, because you can actually give utilities to your NFTs, even if you are like in casual NFT collection. And so I think, yeah, in the short term, we are trying to like take people into these specific things of the protocol. And when we will release the interface to create like organizations, I think it will be very, very simple and interacted with both item and both covenants. And so from the interface, it will be very easy to actually, I think also for non-coders to actually create like a base on-chain governance, which most of the function we have, or for example, in our on-chain governance, and factory will be like a huge step forward when we will release the factory UI. But just to reply to the Max Flyer things about the items UI, that you had the ID to code, and you said, oh, but we missed into the EthereansOS interface, and yeah, at the moment we missed it, but because with the factory in our roadmap, with the factory UI, there will be also a lot of developing tools that you can use in every part of EthereansOS that will be very, very cool for like not just be a developer of factories, on-chain organizations, items, but the idea is to build something with some of the tools we are using in our internal developing testing. And so like I think we want to marketize this is not just I want to build on EthereansOS because it's more secure for these things, which are very, very comprehensive at the moment in crypto for like very, very people that are very, very nerd into decentralization, like us. But to say, oh, I will build there because the tools are the best are the best in the whole industry, also. And so this is why we have this roadmap in this verse, actually. So I hope I reply and discuss to your comment about this. And I think the short term, like making easier the documentation, will be very, very helpful. But I think when we will release the factory and all of the tools to code, I think this will be the best moment actually to having like a lot of developers there, because our approach is to really to okay, come here because it's just not just the on-chain tool are the best in terms of decentralization, but you also have like the best place to code, test, try things, and so on.
Yeah, yes, I understand. Well, the work Messi wants to do is not in competition with what we are going to do with factories
No,
because
no, yeah, I don't talk about competition in that term. I think
no, no, maybe
I
competition
just replying to.
not the right word. I mean, um, what your plan is not excluding. This is what I mean. What Messi is going to do because the Web 2 game can later call factories directly. Okay, so
Oh yeah, sure,
it's
but I just discussed about the other thing he said about the industry right now. So I was not into the conversation about the game
okay.
In my comment. So thank you, Messi, to actually highlight these things because I'm very happy to set my personal view about this publicly because yeah, during this period I didn't have too much time to write about these things, and I want in the future to write a lot about these things and our researches to be more public into this. So thank you, Messi, to highlight this, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for the answer, and also it's really cool to talk directly to you as a founder. So it's really cool to have such a call.
Yeah, man. I miss you both actually from Milan. So and
Maybe that's yeah. Please, Ale.
no, sorry, continue. I don't want to
So
interrupt.
I was trying to say that maybe it's a good time to say that I was thinking a lot about your idea of creating something like spaghetti event, but so only Web3 related event in Poland. So it would not be as big as those events which are more of a Web 2 trying to take money from from crypto guys, but to make something like spaghetti event. And right now I'm talking with one of because I think that uh, I need help from people which are in have better contacts with some organizers and with some projects. And I'm right now. I explain everything to a cool guys, which are from Poland, and I think it's really possible that we will have at an. I'm not sure when it can happen, but I'm thinking that it will happen. That we will create an event similar to spaghetti, and I'm just trying to make sure it would be it will be really like spaghetti, and it will not be and those guys will not like destroy it and make it a Web 2 because we have in Poland a lot of events like which are not really about blockchain. So I think that it's possible that we will meet in Poland next time.
Can I give you some feedbacks, which actually were the same feedbacks I gave to the spaghetti people for it, if I can help. I think I advise to just thinking about like starting the hackathon online like a month or 2 weeks before, and then at the event doing like also the presentation of the project from the hackathon and the hackathon winnings, because I think is like more like people have more time to actually think about the project and rushing the ending of the project during the event days. and so I think it can be more like fun for coders.
Yeah, I agree. I was not thinking about the hackathon itself a lot, but right now I'm sure this option would be much better.
Oh, cool. And by the way, just thinking about what Max Fire said before, I think it will be very cool what we want to do about this like game and we with the release of many different tools, it will be also better. So if you go forward with this, maybe in the future during our development, we can also help to integrate with the function. So I'll be happy to talk about this.
Awesome.
And for
Awesome.
and from Laskar, some feedbacks.
Yeah, I think as a non-techie person, I find the documentation is actually really well put together. I think is easy enough for people like myself to comprehend it. So I think that's great, and I think we should put more effort towards actually promoting it. I think a lot of work has been done since the launch of the new platform back in November, if I remember correctly, till now, and I think. It has been very noticeable that there has been a very, very sort of fast and steep ramp up of activity that's gone towards delivering on what was promised, and it really feels like that we are extremely close now to closing the loop on the entire thing. I believe that focusing on items was and Dex, of course, was like a really, really good choice. Because not only it's probably the protocol that's got the most amount of potential in terms of getting other people engaged and building things on the platform, but also because it's probably the most trending aspect of the entire project right now. So it's great time to be in this space, and I also want to say that I think it's massively underestimated what you guys are doing with the whole delegations concept. Um, I don't believe there are many, if any, projects out there that actually have got this funding model behind it that allows people like ourselves, Macy, and Max to be able to do what we do. And I think that this is actually an area that needs to be shouted more about. And on this topic, I think I'm really excited and looking forward to see when the organizations part gets properly launched into the new platform, because obviously delegations can sit across different organizations. I think as more organizations come onto the platform, then we're going to see more delegations also coming forward, and there is going to be a lot more innovation, and there's going to be a lot more people talking about it, and there's a lot of more cool projects that are going to get built using your technology. So yeah, I think it's a great time to live at the moment, being part of this community. I think the next few months are going to be even more exciting, and I think by the time the market becomes really strong again, I think this project is going to be very, very well placed to be recognized as a leading project on Ethereum.
Oh, thank you for the feedback. Something I want to underline by the thing you mentioned about also the videos is that I'm very happy from the feedbacks from the DEX video, for example. It was our first try to actually like try to explain a little bit that thing in a like funny and catchy and freshy way, and we are trying to scheduling like with the art team and so on to like do this kind of video for most of the single things we have into the protocol. And so yeah, I think one for the delegation would be cool. So yeah, I will add into the schedule.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can say that the Dex video release, I was feeling like, fuck, my animation whiteboard video is so bad compared to yours. And while you were explaining in Milano me a bit about how much you guys like put work in it, so it was not really something hard for you. And you said that you can create such a videos with not a big problem, as I understood. And it's so good. After I saw the release, it's really good. So having like, let's say, the whole platform functions in such a short videos would be really good for also for other delegation like ETHEREANS community to use it as a marketing tool when reaching some new members.
Yeah,
and I think
something I guess. Oh, sorry, Lascar.
No,
I
I
don't
would-
want to interrupt you.
no, sorry. I was just going to say that people in general have got very little attention span. So actually doing this kind of format, a couple of minutes, few minutes worth of like very highly animated and very communicative content is what's going to get best result and attention from people.
Yeah. So actually, what I can say from like management perspective of this is that from the official EthereansOS brand, we wanted to like be sure to be able like very high quality videos before to have some like official videos about these things, and so we are growing into the art people, and I'm very excited about this because we have like one of the parts that excites me the most because we have like this huge plan, not just for this kind of video, but also to like creating a huge lore for something you have already hint in our websites and things, and it will be fun. So we have like also these videos and other kind of videos and animatics, and will be very like a very like cool journey to follow also for like followers who love the project for this. And yeah, so right now we are into we have organizing all of the things to be very fast into delivering these things by the art team. So it will be so exciting into the next weeks and months about this. I'm sure we are preparing something that really excites you, actually, about this kind of content.
You got any previews for us?
I love to leak something because I'm too excited, but I really I can't this time. I mean, I just can say that the next will be about farming, and so this is the only thing I can say.
Right.
Well, we look forward to seeing those as they come out, and I think this has been some really good discussion on not just the delegations, but also how they fit into the larger picture of the ecosystem here. And at this point, we're going to wrap up this delegations call, but it sounds like there are a lot of things to talk about, not only for like the delegation leaders together with some potential collaborations, but them with some of the core team members, coordinating some of the approach, working on tutorials and other aspects of the project. So just to sort of wrap us up here, we have our 3 delegations. There's going to be a write-up coming out about what their plans have been this last quarter, what's going to be happening next quarter, and the big event coming up here real shortly in just a few days is the treasury split, and that's where the funds is going to be allocated to these delegations to bring their vision into a reality. So if you haven't already staked your tokens for one of these delegations or even multiple of them, I think to the security of the project, and it also lets you support what your vision for not only the future of the project looks like. And once thank you to our delegation leads. Thank you to the team members who came up here. And I'm sure there's going to be some more conversation future here, and I look forward to seeing them. Thanks, everyone.